This is Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Kaloni. Now, thou shalt not mention the name of God in vain. NDC MP for Kpando Della Sowah goes biblical in budget debate, accusing government and the finance minister of seeking to use the name of God to hoodwink Ghanaians.
When the wicked rule, the people mourn. They mourn. When you call the name of God in vain, God will make forces come together against you.
And what moved Guaso Maheni Nanakwesi Botompra to tears?
NDC contract over the Mawa Hafono, no money be any who. Could Joe Saba Quans, no see there be a quan way dear. Samikasa me Babe Gusua Numbe Guase. And then Yaya Bonnie Bay.
While in Parliament, the chairman of the Roads and Transport Committee insists the NPP government has made the biggest ever investment in the road sector.
In the years that the Ofori government has been in power, how much the government have pumped or invested into the sector? It's about 16 billion. This is the highest any government in our history has ever made into the road sector.
Now into our very first story. Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin has summoned the Ministers for National Security and Interior to appear before the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament on Thursday morning to provide a briefing on actions being taken by the government to forestall a clash between the Mo and Wangara tribes in the Kintampo North municipality. Now, according to the Member of Parliament for the area, Joseph Kwame Kuma, tensions have escalated in his constituency after the Mo tribe requested to perform rituals within the month of November and December, coinciding with the annual Klubi Festival of the Wangara community.
I beg to advise, never has any group of people ever benefited from war or conflict without some regrets of had I known. Mr. Speaker, the municipality is one of the least developed when it comes to road and other infrastructure projects. Perennial accident prone on the highways but lack a common trauma center. A Tampo full of thousands of hectares of arable rice lands, yet untapped, fertile land for yams, cassava, and other cash crops, which almost all big wigs in the municipality cultivate in large scales. Why should we sit down for Kintampo to be torn apart? RISEC and MUSEC must not struggle to fix what is happening. Let's all be fair to all the factions so that in the end, everlasting peace will be the winner. Finally, let those who have lost a loved one take heart, and those injured be healed by His grace. Kintampo North municipality needs an industrial revolution, not conflict resolution. Mr. Speaker, I have consulted the Peace Council, both regional and national, to quickly intervene in the Kintampo issues for the parties to use dialogue and mediation for everlasting peace and prosperity in Kintampo. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, the center of the nation must not be allowed to be tensed up. For if things are allowed to fall apart, commuters from all walks of life who plow from Accra to Paga and to the neighboring countries will suffer. Also, business will suffer, and there will be negative consequences on the government's meager resources.
Now, in response to calls for a ceasefire by the MP, the Speaker directed that the government must take immediate steps to ensure peaceful coexistence, directing the National Security and Interior Minister to appear before the Defence and Interior Committee.
Minister for National Security, the Minister for the Interior, as the first authorities to come to this house to brief the Committee on Defense and Interior. This is an urgent matter that should be handled with dispatch. I think tomorrow should be okay for the two ministers and their commanders to appear before the committee early tomorrow morning by 9 a.m. to brief the committee. It's an urgent matter. The National Security Council, through their regional office, should immediately intervene because the chieftaincy institution is one of the cornerstones of the peace and security of our country. And we hold that institution dearly. And we should do everything to prevent that institution from falling into disarray. But this, I think, is a simple matter. The president of the Wangara community is the president of the Wangara community in Ghana. That is what the statement says. Not just in the Kintampo traditional area, in Ghana. And so they have a festival, which is an annual festival they celebrate, called Kulubi Festival, within the period. The paramount chief of Mo, and we know how key the Mo tribe is in Ghana, even though a lot of them are rather in Côte d'Ivoire. It's a very important tribe. The paramount chief of the Mo and the president of the Mo Traditional Council is deciding to perform some rituals. That one is not an annual festival because that festival is the Benkadi Kurubi Festival. And there's a period for celebration, but it is just to perform some rituals. It's a belief that if that is done, some spirits could intervene to try to prevent accidents and other criminal activities within the area. So they don't have the same, to me, import.
Now, traditionally, a chief is not supposed to cry in public, but poor roads linking Mim to Gosu in the Ahafo region moved the chief of Gosu, Nana Kwesi Bosompra, to tears. He lamented that the dusty roads had affected his health and caused his gods to abandon him. The chief vented his concerns when the NDC's flag bearer paid him a visit on his building Ghana tour.
NDC contract on the Mawa Hafono, Naboni Bianiho. Kojo Saba Kwanso, no see there be a kwan way there. Samekasa me ba be gusu amenum be guase. Isam sa tutu kwan ni nyina. Nsana masaya nfoforo. Ene. Nano nalado ba mekasa nana. Futro nti mabosom nyina adwane afira mfia.
There was nothing wrong with the contract given for the construction of roads in the Ahafo region by the NDC. However, due to the poor state of the road, the contractor decided to start the project anew, leading to the current state of the road. I once informed President Akufo-Addo during his visits that due to the dusty nature of the roads, all my gods have deserted the palace.
There was 6 districts. Me no pen NDC for there. I have Yatuma MPP. Now for the Abano saying. And you have Fati Timusa. Koko Kakra Mutumitui, and your Kwan was one of Fako, Obakobiana Kada from.
What is our crime? Our origin. What have we done wrong? 2 out of the 6 districts have the vote of the NDC. The Ofori-Atta consistently vote for the MPP. What is our crime? This same road is the route for transporting cocoa. Burkina Faso have also been cutting down our trees, destroying our forest. People now live in fear whenever it rains. However, there's always an attempt to silence us from speaking the truth.
Now, our reporter Nana Yaujima joins us live on Zoom on this particular story. It appears we're having some challenge with that connection, but as and when we have it, we'll speak to our reporter there. But moving on, former President John Mahama has hinted that the National Democratic Congress will choose its running mate in 2024. He was responding to appeals from some members of the traditional authority in Asonafo South for the flag bearer to select their MP Eric Opoku. Mr. Mahama explained that the party's National Executive Council of the Elders will have to decide on the matter.
The American said, Senya amamresi da hono. Yamanyo kono so e kwan eda ho a yede yi ye nipa a gina bebia yede nipa no beto. Presidential candidate and a national executive and a council of elders. Ye na any yede boom na ye nipa your friend a running mate. Na saa dwumadie no enya afi ne ebe no afi eba na ye be yi saa nipa no enti emre no duru ho a modem nkoso mbɔ mpae na mokoso mbɔ mpae ne ese nyabe na si hene enti.
Now, let's switch come to the NPP, where its flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, slams John Mahama for not being innovative in churning out policies that are feasible to transform the country. Addressing a rally during his homecoming tour, Dr. Bawumia did not only raise these concerns, but also threw a challenge for a comprehensive comparison of his track record against that of John Mahama, on who possesses great ideas.
So what is this 24-hour economy that you want to bring? It is purely an issue for any business. If you feel you will make money opening 24 hours, there is no law preventing you from opening. But this is one idea that John Mahama thinks he has brought. It is a bad idea. It is an idea that has not been thought through. It is a bad idea. And so I want you to compare me and John Mahama. Who has the ideas to transform this economy? Who has the ideas? Who has the ideas? Yes, the track record of John Mahama doesn't show innovative thinking. It doesn't show ideas. The track record of Dr. Bawumia is idea after idea after idea after idea after idea. That is the difference. I will, and I tell you, I have my own vision. When I become president, more ideas, and you will hear.
Let's go back to our earlier story to speak to my colleague Nana Yao, who is on phone. Nana Yao, describe the nature of the road that the Gosomahene was actually complaining about.
So this is a road that has actually been awarded on contract, but the contractor have abandoned site. His equipment has stopped the road. You can see his concrete machines and others are still on the road. But unfortunately, there's no work being done. Already, some works have been done already. Drains have been constructed. But unfortunately, the contractor is nowhere to be found. that have left the road in a very dusty manner. So the people living along this road are having a difficult time contending with the dust emanating from the road. The palace of the Mahine is one of the homes or one of the places sited along the road. So these people are having a difficult time. Businesses are being affected by the poor nature of the road.
All right. So I believe you were there when the chief made his statement, and there were other people also in the room. What was the mood like after he made this particular statement?
Very interesting. Nobody was expecting such a reaction from the chief, or for him to get emotional with that situation. But unfortunately, that was what resulted. It left a lot of the people very quiet and visibly on their faces. You could see sadness written all over the faces of the people, including former President John Mahama. As captured in the video, he was also saddened by the situation, and it was written all over his face. His demeanor showed.
All right. So, but was there any response from John Mahama himself?
Unfortunately, he didn't get the opportunity to speak at the palace, but traveling on the Shidium to Kenya, the road, he traveled on that road, and it's among the roads that were listed by the Mahine. The road was very terrible, bumpy, dusty, and even the land cruisers that were in the convoy had very difficult time, managing the road. And the people of Kenya, when the former president got there, also made a complaint, and it came up that the Newmont mine working within Kenya have devoted some money that have already been paid to the government to see to it that this road is constructed. But unfortunately, it remains a mystery why the road that the Kenya to Fidian road have not been constructed. But John Mahama, speaking on this issue, says that when he is voted into power, he will ensure that wherever this fund or this money is, he will make sure that the money is found for the road to be fixed. So the people are expectant that if John Mahama should be voted into power, the road will be fixed, since Newmont Mining Limited has already paid for the road.
All right. Thank you so much, Nana Yaojima, for the update on the particular story. We'll still keep our eyes on the ground. Now, moving on, day 2 of the 2024 budget debate saw MP for Pando Della Sowah going biblical, just like Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta when he presented the budget. According to Della Sowah, this government and the Minister of Finance are attempting to use the name of God to deceive citizens into voting for them. The debate also saw MPs tout what they have been able to do so much on this particular, on the road sector.
It focused on communications.
Sincere apologies for the loss of sound in the earlier story. We'll take that story again. Day 2 of the 2024 budget debate saw MP for Pando Della Sowah going biblical, just like Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta when he presented the budget. According to Della Sowah, this government and the Finance Minister are attempting to use the name of God to deceive citizens into voting for them. Now, the debate also saw MP tout what they say is the government's superior record in the road sector. There's more in the following report.
Of the 2024 budget debate focused on communications, energy and roads, works and housing, sanitation, and the environment. And the NDC and NPP MPs have been going at each other. NDC MP for Pando, Honorable Della Sowah, was quick to take on what he believes is Ken Ofori-Atta and government's reference to the Bible as a means to deceive the public.
This government, they are always quoting scripture. I'll quote one. Bible says in Proverbs 29 verse 2, when the wicked rule, the people mourn. They mourn. When you call the name of God in faith, God will make forces come together against you. He said, when the wicked rule, the people mourn. There's mourning everywhere in the country. Why? Because wicked people are in rulership. Look, I shudder to think that this government wants to break the eight. It's scary. It's like saying, after all we've done, the hopeless things we've done, where we've taken Ghana to, we'll continue it. Hey, what are you saying?
We also heard from Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who took on the NDC and claims that the NDC are completely bad managers of the economy and cannot purport to lecture the MPP on how to govern.
Today, voting ambition of the NDC minority that failed this country at the time they left office, all the economic indicators were at its all-time low. In spite of all the challenges that we are facing as a country, this Nkunim budget has set down 3.5 billion cedis for the road sector for arrears to contractors and to also complete ongoing road projects. This is a positive news.
His colleague, the Deputy Minority Leader Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, explained that this government has been killing businesses. He also took on what he believed was government's lethargy in dealing with all the problems that Ghanaians have been crying about since they assumed office in 2017.
Are we not surprised that food inflation is really off the roof? It gets worse, Mr. Speaker. If you look at the ease of doing business ranking, Ghana, the darling boy of ease of doing business, in 2012, we were second out of 190 countries. By 2020, we had moved to 118. Mr. Speaker, and if you look at the criteria for ease of doing business and the reason we have done so badly, it shows us why every business is collapsed. Every indicator is really shows that this government is simply not good for business.
One big issue that has come up on day 2 of the debate is who has constructed more roads. We heard from Chairman of the Roads and Transport Committee, Kennedy Osei-Nyako, who claimed that this government, led by President Akufo-Addo, has invested in road sector more than any government in the history of this country.
So far, within the 7 years that the Akufo-Addo government has been in power, how much the government have pumped or invested into the sector? It's about 16 billion. This is the highest any government in our history has ever made into the road sector. 16 billion. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, within 7 years, the government has been able to expand our road network, the size of our road network, from the 78,402 kilometers that we met to 94,203.
NPP MP for Doma East, Pochum Berima, also took on the NDC's attacks on Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia and said nothing will stop the current Vice President from going on to become the next President of the Republic.
I bring my conclusion. Mr. Speaker, I can confidently tell you that Nana Adongo Akufo-Addo will hand over to His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and he will continue the good work that we are doing. And as I said, Mr. Speaker, we are not going to say too soon, but we can assure you that in heaven we will remember you and remember our colleagues.
The budget debate will continue tomorrow, Thursday, the 23rd of November, with the spotlight being shown on education, health, unemployment, youth, sports, tourism, culture, and chieftaincy. Like we've told you, this debate is going to continue until next week, Tuesday, when leadership on both sides will be expected to wrap up. Reporting for Joy News, Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Now away from Parliament, the Asante Regional Juro Association has called on the Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokono, to follow through on her promise to intervene in the payment of their 10-month pay arrears. The group cancelled its strike action after a meeting with the Chief Justice in Kumasi. The jurors are now looking up to the Chief Justice to receive payment of the outstanding allowances. My colleague Nana Bwachi Yadam has the rest of the story.
Full meeting with the Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono, the jurors in the Ashanti region, specifically at the Kumasi High Court, have resumed work. According to the foreman of the Juro Association in the Ashanti region, Ofori-Atta, the association is comfortable with the work they've started.
We are comfortable. Even before CJ came here, we went to Accra. We took the opportunity to go to Accra to see her, and unfortunately, the nature of her work, we couldn't get access to her. Then we came back. So when all these things were happening, we were looking up to him to even come down to see her children. And that's what exactly she did. And as you said, when she came, he promised us. So we are comfortable and we are even happy that CJ, and it has never happened in the history of jury system before, when I joined, or even before, that CJ came to meet a session of the jurors. You see, upon hearing that they are hungry. So that alone is a plus to CJ.
Although they have resumed work, Mr. Ofori-Atta says the jurors are expecting the Chief Justice to follow up on the allowances as promised.
As CJ said, she will make sure that the arrears will be paid to jurors and it won't delay anymore. And that's the assurance she gave. So she pleaded with the jurors that we should immediately resume work on Monday. That was yesterday, Monday. Then we came, but we have not yet have any interaction with her again. Yet we are planning as jurors to select few to go and meet her in Accra, so that other things related to the jurors and the delay in the allowance and other matters also will be addressed. We should also give her the benefit of the doubt that she promised to make sure that the chunk allowances will be paid, and furthermore, it will not delay again.
After a fruitful meeting with the Chief Justice on Friday, the jurors are yet to hear anything officially from the administrator nor the Chief Justice. They say they will continue to perform their duties in various courtrooms. From the Appeal Court Complex, my name is Nana Bwachi Yadam.
Now let's shift our attention to education, where stakeholders are pushing hard for science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM to be integrated into Ghana's education system. Now the National Education Week, which brings together students, teachers and other participants in the education sector, aims to focus on ways the country can improve on quality education. There's more in the following report.
The 2023 National Education Week is bringing together students, teachers, and stakeholders to reflect on delivering quality education with a sharp focus on science, technology, engineering, and vocational training. Director General of the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, Professor Edward Appiah, tells Joy News that STEM is the new focus for Ghana's education curriculum, adding that the National Education Week presents an opportunity for stakeholders to take stock and to inform policy measures going forward.
I think that this is key, and it's good to have it. You know, at every stage in your life, you need to evaluate what you have been doing, invite people to tell you their views, so that at least you can check to see whether you are making progress or there are areas that you need some improvement. And for me, this yearly activity is key, and I commend the minister for doing that. Let me say that the standard-based curriculum that we've rolled out for the KG, primary and JHS, and for which we are going to end with the secondary, is STEM infected. STEM focus from KG upwards.
STEM icon and quiz mistress of the National Science and Maths Quiz, Professor Elsie Kaufman, who joined the dialogue, noted that science and technology as well as vocational training is necessary for national development.
It's not just about educational transformation, it's about national transformation. If we want to make progress, and by the way, some of the presentations we've had so far about how nations have transformed themselves is through the adoption of STEM, and studying these subjects for the purpose of making impact, not just for the purpose of studying, but for the purpose of making impact. We've seen the examples. So if we want to also move forward, it's important that we also do these things. And that's why I'm happy that, we are considering STEM, we are considering TVET. These are the ways to help us make impact.
Well, so the 2023 National Education Week is underway here at the Labadi Beach Hotel, and this event is also presenting a unique opportunity not just to teachers, stakeholders, but also students to try and demonstrate and apply what they've been learning in the classrooms all throughout the years.
Okay, so this is a firefighting drone produced by ourselves at Abetifi Technical Institute. If you could recall, early this year, a police officer died 16th January 2023. He died on a 2-story building because of a fire outbreak. And then when we got to hear that news, the fire service were like, okay, they weren't able to go up to that height. So we came about this idea that, so why don't we build a drone that instead of human being getting to that height, we will control the drone so that the drone will go and perform that action at maybe a level that a human being cannot reach.
Okay. Oops. Well, but it's all not over. This is just an example of the ingenuity that we have from some of the Ghanaian students who by themselves are creating these drones, and it's part of the innovation that the National Education Week is trying to drive across. And you see all of these students, not just them, but other students across here who are displaying their crafts and also putting across what they've been taught in the classrooms and practicalizing them so as to send across that message that indeed the future is STEM and the future is TVET.
As Ghana's education moves towards promoting STEM and TVET, there is a call for inclusivity. Auto technician Sowah, also known for her advocacy as She Kanik, says more girls must be given the opportunity to study STEM and vocational courses.
No, I think more importantly, parents should understand that STEM is not just about calculations and equations. I mean, the days of having to memorize equations and concepts, it's gone. STEM really is the practical skills, so you should encourage your children, encourage them into going into these practical skills and wanting to do things with their hands. It is the foundation of STEM, and it's one of the surest where we can curb unemployment in Ghana.
Della reporting for Joy News, Labadi Beach Hotel, Accra.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education says it has begun a process that will ensure that no adult will take undue advantage of any child in any school across the country. Now, in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation and the National Teaching Council, the Ghana Education Service is hoping that its newly outlawed sexual harassment awareness and prevention guidelines will tighten sanction regime for any teacher who will take undue advantage of their student population. Now, Sector Minister Dr. Yao Seduchum, who commissioned the framework on the sidelines of the National Education Week in Accra, called on all stakeholders to work towards making the school environment safe for all.
My colleague teachers understand that these guidelines are supposed to help you be better professionals. We all have gone through school in Ghana, and we all saw what some unscrupulous individuals did to some sections of the student population. That era should be long gone. We have begun a process that will ensure that no adults take undue advantage of any child in any school in this country. If you do, the law will take its course. Imagine them as your daughters, they come home to tell you that somebody has abused them. If you were the father, would you be happy? You will not be. So let us all understand that we have to protect this young woman, protect this young man, make sure they learn, they study, bring about the transformation that we need in this country. I think most of the things I was going to say have been said, either in my video or the presentation by the Director General or by Director Counseling or the Human Resource Director have said so much, NTC have said so much, and I believe that the online training is going to equip our teachers to do a great job. Heard of these complaints in the years past. And this is not something any school is going to investigate. To be investigated by law enforcement. And it's as simple as that. Parents, understand that these guidelines are going to protect your children. If you get any complaints from your daughter, your son, that nothing untoward has happened to them, don't hesitate to contact the school and don't hesitate to inform law enforcement. So the right thing will be done. I trust that my colleague teachers and education workers will go by these guidelines and there will be no need for any reports by any parent to anyone. Because I think we got into this profession with a full understanding that we are in this profession to impact humanity. And therefore, we're going to do the right thing. So these guidelines will just be a reminder for us to always understand that we have to do the right thing. Young men and women, it's your responsibility, per the guidelines, to report anything untoward that happens to you, to your head of school, your counselor, and any adult in your school environment that you trust. Don't be afraid. Protect yourself.
You're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Kaloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Stay with us. Now, Manchester United defender Harry Maguire has responded to a viral video of Member of Parliament for Bogatanga Central, Isaac Adongo, apologizing to him following his recent good run of form. Mr. Adongo rendered an unqualified apology to the England international in Parliament on Tuesday for comparing him to Ghana's Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia when he referred to them as poor performers.
But Mr. Speaker, I am not surprised. If you are a fan of football, and I'm happy to see you the other day jubilating when Ghana won. But there was a player in the United Kingdom, in England, called Maguire, who was playing for Manchester United. Harry Maguire. He's a defender. He was tackling everybody and throwing his bodies everywhere, that he was seen as the best defender in the world. Manchester United went and bought him. He became the biggest threat at the center of Manchester United's defense, tackling Manchester players and giving assists to opponents. Mr. Speaker, when even the opponents fail to score, Maguire will score for them. Mr. Speaker, you remember in this country we also had an economic Maguire. This economic Maguire went to Malata market and were clapping, saying that this man is the best in managing foreign currency. The same economic Maguire was roaming at Central University, delivering lectures on how to restore the value of the city. Mr. Speaker, when we gave this Maguire the opportunity to be at the center of our defense, he became the risk of our own goal. Dr. Bawumia, our economic Maguire, is now tackling all the fundamentals of our economy and destroying all of them.
This comment went viral, catching the attention of international media and even Maguire. But at the 2024 budget debate, Adongo recanted and apologized.
Mr. Speaker, you remember that last year, I was very quick to compare my big brother, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, to Harry Maguire. Mr. Speaker, I now apologize to Harry Maguire. Mr. Honorable Chairman, sir, you got very angry when I used your defender as an example. Today, Maguire has turned the corner. Is a transformation footballer. Harry Maguire is now scoring goals for Manchester United. Mr. Speaker, Harry Maguire is now a key player for Manchester United. And for our Maguire, he is now roaming at the IMF with a cup in hand. With a cup in hand.
Maguire has seen the post and reacted. He tweeted, MP Isaac Adongo, apology accepted. See you at Old Trafford soon.
We'll take a break. We'll return with Showbiz. Stay with us. It's time for Showbiz, and Jacqueline is in studio.
Oh, today I didn't hear JQ.
Yeah, you want to hear JQ?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, tomorrow we'll do JQ.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we started with music. You know, music is a very powerful tool. It's used for a lot. Yeah. So for decades now, music has been one of the most powerful tools for entertainment, and through the years, it has found its way of keeping the public informed on societal issues and advocating for change. Therefore, a group of musicians are seeking to use music to create awareness on climate change with a project dubbed the Climate Band Tour. There's more in this report.
Have you ever thought about the entertaining ways you could inform the public about a pertinent social issues? The Climate Band Tour, as the name suggests, encompasses a group of musicians using music to create awareness of climate change in Africa with concerts and tours.
So, in as much as we talk a lot, music is the bottom line to draw a lot of people's attention to whatever we are campaigning about. Music is the best way, because which other way other than music? To get a message across to somebody, put it in music, and it sticks to the person's mind forever, because they will sing it all the time, and then that would inform them that, oh yeah, that's true, you know. And the more we sing it, the message goes further than just standing somewhere and talking about it.
World-touring musician Ales Carly is taxing Africans to do more to tackle climate changes.
So this campaign, with the music and the energy and people talking and these kind of conferences, is getting that awareness, getting the fact that Africa can take the situation by themselves. There's no reason to wait for USA or Europe or China or India, because they're way too slow anyway. They're not doing anything. They're not solving anything. It's happening right here. Africa is where it's going to happen, and it's exciting. So the music is all contributing to that, playing with Lipstick Queen and King Sabata. This is a perfect way to start the movement and the campaign for Africa to be the leader.
Thank you so much, Ales Campaign.
The climate change musical tours is expected to happen in Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, and Benin. Comfort Ashley's report read to you.
Well, that's a good initiative.
Yeah, sure.
We're hoping it helps fight the climate change issues that we have. Well, moving on to another story that broke last night. Now, ace Ghanaian beatmaker and music producer, Hama, of the Last Two Music Group, has announced his resignation from his day job as managing partner and head of sales and marketing at A1 Bread Factory to make a comeback into the music production business. Now, Hama announced his break from the music scene to take up the entrepreneurial task with the popular A1 Bread Factory some years ago. The announcement of his break from the music production generated lots of discussions, especially with his new venture. But now he's back to music. Well, we hope that he makes a bigger comeback in the music industry.
Yeah.
Carlos, before we go, very happy birthday to football legend Asamoah. He was born today, 22nd November 1985. And of course, he's a former professional footballer in Ghana. All right.
One of my favorite, actually.
Okay, I see. You know, Asamoah nearly became a musician.
Yes.
Yes, I was hoping to see him.
He's also a former musician, you know that.
Well, yeah, I was hoping to see him in the music industry once, like he was done with football.
Let's see what he comes up with.
Maybe he makes a comeback.
Sure. So that's all for Showbiz, and that's it for this particular bulletin. My name is Carlos Caloni. You can go on to our news website, myjoyonline.com, for more stories.